Before adding products and changing the appearance of the site itself, it's a good idea to make sure all your settings are correct. To start off, let's look at the general settings. You find the general settings on your dashboard under Settings and General. The general settings allow you to customize the shop name and meta information, set and change the physical shop address and where your shop is located, lets you configure standards and numbers, and configure tracking through Google Analytics. At the top, you have the store name. This is the name you input when you created your account. So if you put in the wrong name or you want to change it, or at some future date you want to change the name of your shop, you can do that here. You can also set a store title. Now, this is a feature that may or may not be included in the current theme you're using. So some themes will have a separate store title while others won't. So that depends entirely on the theme you're using. Next, you have the store description. This is a feature that's activated in some themes from Shopify that allow you to put in a meta description in your page. A meta description is information that's hidden from the visitor, but that's seen by search engines. And here you can put in a short description of what type of products you're selling on your site. When I say short, I really mean it. It can't be any longer than 160 characters, and it has to exemplify what type of products you're selling. So in this case, I'll write no obstacles. Home sells green products that make your home and your life simpler. Like I said, this is an option that is not always activated. It depends on the theme you're using. But just to be safe, it's always good to fill it in. Just be advised that in some cases, when you activate a theme, you may have to fill out the meta description somewhere else as well. Next on the list, you have the account email. This is the email Shopify uses to contact you about your account, so it's important that that email address is correct. You also have the customer email address, and here I recommend you set up a custom email address just to handle customer email, and that way when you respond to them, they won't have your main admin email address so they can respond back to you and cluster that email address. Instead, everything will be handled in its own account. Scrolling down, you have the shop address, and this is public information that will be displayed on the site that tells the customer where your shop is. But more importantly, it also tells Shopify where your shop is located so that Shopify can help you calculate tax and shipping. So it's important that this is correct. Below the address, you have standards and formats. Here you can set the format for your order ID numbers. So by default, it's set to the # plus a number. But you can change this to anything else. So if you have an inventory system that requires you to do something else, you can just put that format in here. Just remember that you need to keep this double curly bracket number in the double curly bracket because this is where the actual number will appear. So you can put whatever you want before and after, and you see an example display here, but you need to keep that curly bracket number in. And if you accidentally delete it, just go down to the comment below and copy it out again. You can set your time zone. And this is automatically set based on where your store is located, but if for some reason you want to change it or it didn't display properly, you can change it here. You can also set the unit system, same thing, it's set based on where your store is located, and your currency. At the bottom, you can input your Google Analytics code. So if you have a Google Analytics account, and I highly recommend you get one, you can set up a custom code for your Shopify store, and that way you can track what's going on Shopify. Simply take the code from Google Analytics, paste it in here, and save the page, and that way you'll get analytics for your store as well. At the very bottom, you have your storefront password, and here you see it says, your store is password protected with the password and then the password. To remove your storefront password, you have to pick a plan, and we'll do that later on in the course. So for now, when you set up the store, the only way you can access it is by using the password that's set by Shopify. When you made all the changes you need and you know everything is correct, click Save, and all the changes are saved onto your store. And you get this nice little message on the bottom saying your settings were saved successfully. When configuring the general settings, make sure your site name and description is correct, you are distributing the right email address to your customers, that the shop address is correct, so taxes and shipping are calculated correctly, and that you are using the right units of measurement. All of this can be changed later on, but it's a good idea to set it up correctly right out of the gate.